Nick, neither one of you guys mentioned the Greek Freak there at forward, but he does have center eligibility. Is that a direction you would consider going in?
Generally, no. Giannis is usually a guy who, as much as provides a lot of value and everything. Don't get me wrong. He's a guy that I'm usually not leaning towards as much. I'd rather go with Jokic tonight if you're gonna go and do a pay up spot. I know no Embiid. Usually that's the guy I'm going with of the three. But Jokic, I do understand if you have apprehension because of what he did last time against Orlando, and this is a potential for a blowout spot. The two guys that I'm looking to more again in that mid 5 to 6K range. I like Hassan Whiteside a lot tonight if Rudy Gobert doesn't play, but he is questionable, so you got to make sure you're following along at DK Live to make sure that you get the updates there. Whiteside has grabbed 35 rebounds in his last 2 games, 50.25 DK fantasy points, and 44.5. He's going up against the Rockets, an up-tempo matchup for any team in the NBA, and they aren't at all defensively efficient too. So, and they're giving up the most DK fantasy points to opposing centers. So it's a great spot for Whiteside. Could be a little chalky too, admittedly. Another guy who's in that same price range is Andre Drummond going up against the Kings. This is his Brooklyn debut. He's not on the injury report right now. I know LaMarcus Aldridge isn't either, but we don't have any of Brooklyn stars going tonight because this game is in Brooklyn. And Sacramento is not great in terms of limiting DK fantasy points against opposing centers. And Domantas Sabonis, as much as I like the Kings tonight, he's not going to help in that situation either.
That's right. And the Kings also make you want to roster Drummond because they're really bad at rebounding the basketball. Matt, is center a pay-up spot for you tonight?
I think it might be. So I actually do have some interest in Giannis. I think the blowout is going to scare people away. So doing some kind of stack where you include Giannis and Yusuf Nurkic in the game together, I think that could be a really contrarian move that just almost no one is doing. And if this game does stay close, the upside for Giannis is huge. The upside for Nurkic is huge. I do think it's worth mentioning, though, that the Bucks are on the front end of a back-to-back. They are playing the Blazers, who have kind of gutted their roster at this point. They could hold Giannis out tonight, even though he's only listed probable. It's not an injury tag where you really are concerned. But the Bucks do play at home against the Pacers tomorrow. So if Giannis doesn't play, I think we have to look at Holiday. We have to look at Middleton, Portis, and then Nurkic and everyone else on the Blazers becomes more appealing too because there's less of a blowout chance. So in that case, it's kind of chalky, and then you like it for different reasons. But if Giannis does play, I think Giannis with Nurkic as a contrarian game stack, that's still a situation that I want to look towards.